What's up everyone? What is better than sitting down after Christmas and watching another banger video from me, Gleff? Well, I'm the most active dead YouTuber on YouTube, so here I am with a video. Some days ago I asked you guys which top 10 you wanted me to do about weapons, katanas, wands or daggers, and here we are with top 10 RotMG daggers in RotMG. During 2022 we will actually get a buff assassin and rogue patch sometime during the year, but now let's rank the current daggers that are in the game. Honorable mentions? Are you kidding me? It's not swords we are talking about, it's daggers. Well, but putting something here, I might go with the Toxin Tooth. This dagger has some good damage output, but is horrendous to use, I think. So I think it deserves a spot at the honorable mentions and could be replaced with another dagger on the top 10 or 10 to 5th spot. Number 10, Queen's Stinger. The once hyped dagger that came with the Nest release back in 2017. I had never the luck to get it, but 2 years later after the release I got my first one. This dagger is promising on looking on what it has for thought behind it, but the execution is pretty bad, or should I say the damage. On the top 10 list, this one has the least damage, but is here because its ability to pierce through enemies and armor pierce. I would suggest using any other dagger in the game instead of this one, but I like to see 4 of these can turn into a sea dirt or something better, so here it deserves a number 10. Number 9, Spirit Dagger. A really OG dagger that came with the release of Davy Jones' Locker. This dagger has really stood the test of time and I think it deserves a better spot on this list, but the competition becomes really tight towards the end. The dagger has a really low base damage of 50, but the top damage is 280, which is the damage for a sword. This combination gives the dagger of an average damage of 165, which is not that bad. This is a good UT dagger to aim for your PP since it drops pretty often from Davy Jones, at least compared to the Ghostly Prism. A valid dagger that has a place in my heart for being an OG dagger. Number 8, Dagger of Sinister Deeds. I didn't even know the name of this dagger to be honest, but it's a valid option for a dagger backup that you can risk your life with. Since this became tradable, this one grows in my eyes. The availability for this has increased to beginners, which is a good step for beginner play. This tier 13 dagger is a valid option, but can't sadly contend with the tier 14 one and better UTs or STs variants. Number 7, Bounty Hunter's Dagger. This recently reworked dagger comes in at the number 7th spot for being an okay pixie dagger. The dagger on a single bullet is the same damage as the tier 7 mithril dagger, but landing all shots it does pretty decent damage. Combined with other pieces for an Oryx set, this dagger works in an okay fashion. I don't have an opinion on this itself since I've never played with it, but it looks to be a decent dagger coming in at the 7th spot. And it's also pretty fun to use since it's a pixie dagger, so it's a valid option but not the best of the daggers. Number 6, Aetheryte Dagger. This legendary ST dagger is one of the most infamous daggers in the game. Once it was better than the legendary Sea Dirt, which was absolutely ridiculous and showed how Kabam/Deca wanted a little bit more money. And now it suits for a tradable worse version of a short range dagger with a decent damage output. Though the tradable one is a little bit worse and the other one that's better is called Legacy Aetheryte Dagger. A valid option for a dagger class, and even though for example the Toxin Tooth has a better damage output, I myself like the Aetheryte more for the fast bullet speed and a little bit more range with 0.3 tiles more. Number 5, here we come to the good stuff, Corruption Cutter. This is an amazing dagger, fun to use, good damage output, but with those perks it has a drawback of having a true range of a 2.84, which is nothing. While the normal bullets go for 5.6 tiles, I think this one deserves a good spot here at the top 5. It was a nice contender to the top tier dagger and its drop rate is pretty low. I've done plenty of treasure rooms in a library and only getting one in my life. The sprite is also a perk in my opinion, and it's one of my favorite daggers to use. With its rarity, it has a counterpart that drops in the blue alien dungeon Untaris. You could have a hard time using this since it has 2 shot patterns. One is the one you really want, which has the best chances to hit enemies at range. But a nice dagger comes in at the number 5th spot, and yeah. Number 4. Here's some good stuff. But unfortunately here we have the basic tier 14 dagger that came with the release of Oryx 3. This dagger is a versatile dagger that has the option to be your main dagger on your dagger classes. That's a lot of daggers in that sentence. Not the best damage output there is on a weapon, but it works as a more safe substitute to your close range daggers like Aetheryte or Sea Dirk. The question that lasts in my mind is when we are getting tier 15 weapons and which location that will drop them. If you have an idea, comment down below, and what should the items give? Should they give any stats or just be pure damage? Number 3. Archangel's Judgment. This newly released dagger actually beats almost all the daggers in damage that I've talked about in this video. The wide spread of the bullets makes it work like a pixie, and I would say it's the pixie equivalent to daggers. Coming from the Deva Trickster set, this dagger has one of the nicest bullet animations in the game. Seeing the bullets go from one state to another on the apex point just blows my mind, and just really shows how nice weapons can be today. And landing all bullets, this dagger actually has the most DPS in the game, except the corruption cutter on 0 defense target. That means that if something is armor broken, you should go for this dagger and standing in your enemies, and if you die, don't blame me. Number 2. Dirk of Cronus. What can I say? The rarest item in RotMG, and is truly an icon for the game's history and past. Being before the only substitute for a tier dagger, this was a go-to dagger with good DPS. But now, since we've gotten more STs and other UT daggers like Avarice, it sadly goes for a second spot. You can see a real gamer reacting like this when someone gets his first Sea Dirk.
Warpig! Warpig! Jag fick en Sea Dirk! LOL! Nej, jag skojar inte! Jag skojar inte! Jag fick Warpig! Jag fick Sea Dirk! Va? What? På PP? Va? What? Va? Why?
Unfortunately, that was my only Sea Dirk I've ever had, and I later died on that PB. Some daggers before might beat this dagger in DPS and usability, but I just have to place this dagger here on the second spot. Truly a staple in RotMG history, and hopefully they won't change the sprite, which is one of the best weapon sprites in the game, and therefore deserves a number 2 spot. Number 1, can you guess it? It's the Avarice. This whiteback from Gem's book takes the number 1 spot for many reasons. The damage beats Sea Dirk and most daggers except the pixie ones, where you have to stand in bosses. With the insane range of 5.98 tiles, it just takes the number 1 spot for being the most damage output and the insane range combined. Though this shot pattern is a little bit weird, I think you can get used to it, and it's actually not that hard to learn. You can also have an easier time getting it through schematic at the Tinkerer or getting a blueprint from Gem's book himself. Also, the sprite looks really nice and it's a satisfying dagger to use. So that's my top 10s. What did you think? I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, if you did, please show some support with a like, or if you are new here, you can subscribe to the channel. Was I wrong with anything in this video? Should another dagger taken another spot at this list? Comment down below what you would have changed with this list. Well, that's everything for today, and I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.